Hi, I'm the Moorlander and this is Moorlander EDC. Today we're having a look at the newly released Swagman Scarf from Helikon-Tex. This is going to be a different one. I think it really is, because it's such a different item, because it's meant to be a piece of clothing, but is also kind of comes under that gear category because of its multifunctional use, similar to like a woobie liner, or similar to a poncho. It can be used for several different things. Now before we start, so I kind of a little bit mammy, I don't know if this would make sense, but I've got a 16-inch neck. Usually I'd talk about my chest because we're wearing a jacket or something, but a 16-inch neck, this will wrap around my neck like a scarf, and I can still close this within here to get this closed. The wind has picked up a little bit, so I do apologise if you can hear some wind noise. Now the material this is made from 100% nylon. There are some other bits on here, like some YKK zips, which we'll have a look at how they work, and then there are some bungee points in the corner. As you can imagine, as I mentioned, with this kind of being a little bit of akin to a tarp stroke poncho, they've put these bungees on the corner. However, what I would say is these are, I'm going to talk about these now. So these are fastened in here with, it looks like a little bit of cordura or some sort of nylon, so like a ballistic style nylon to keep those in the corner. But I want to use the term flimsy, but I think if you were to use this as a tarp and you were to batten this down and the winds did pick up, these would probably snap off. Or if they didn't snap off, it would end up like those boxes where the elastic's gone in the waist and you can like open them up like Bella Emberg. There's a term people haven't heard of in a while, Bella Emberg. Anyway, so I think you just have to use these corners sparingly. Or if it is that you've got some paracord, and do that bit where you wrap it around it and then tighten it, and you could use the corner as an anchor rather than those anchor points. But the materials are nice. If you wear it around your neck like this, it feels nice. It doesn't feel kind of horrible against your neck. It's a very light ripstop nylon, so you just have to be careful with kind of pulling this too tight. But it feels similar to like a tent, like a very lightweight tent nylon material is what it feels like. I'm just going to take my jacket off for a second, mainly because to show you the other parts that are kind of part of this, because as I mentioned, this is designed to be multifunctional. At the moment I'm wearing it round my neck like a scarf, but this can be used in lots of other different manners. You know, I've got it over my shoulder. It is a bit light, I will say, so if it's in the wind, you just have to be careful with it kind of being blown around. But as mentioned, so this can be used as a poncho. So if I open this up here, hopefully you'll be able to see that it does have a hood. And if I put this over my head, instantly it will take that wind off me. So I do think it's useful for that, mainly because of how well that has just done at being able to stop the wind from, I can feel the wind a little bit through the sides, but the wind that was blowing on me before has gone, so it will help me to keep my core temperature a little bit higher. What you'll notice is though, so with something like a polyester poncho, it does blow in the wind a little bit. With something like one of the Swagman rolls, which I have got with me, I'll show you in a second, so that does blow in the wind again a little bit, whereas this definitely feels a little bit more like a sail, like I could do that Michael Jackson oh kind of thing. So again, you know, you just have to kind of work out for you why it is that you'd want to use this. Now talking about some of those other functional parts, so those bungees in the corner here, there is a pocket here on the front, so if you want to take this off, you can roll this up, you can put it into the pocket, and in fact inside the pocket is a piece of elastic. So if I put my hand there for a second, we'll just pretend that my hand is this when it's rolled up. You can then put that around it so that when it goes inside, you can have that on there and it'll just keep it there nice and tight. But in the corners where you have your bits of those little bungee parts, on the front here, just below where this pocket is, there's a small toggle, so you can pass these eyelets through this toggle, and then you can kind of use this as a makeshift light jacket kind of thing. So you can, if it is that you're at camp, you're doing little bits and bobs, whatever it is that you're doing, so similar to the Swagman roll, you can kind of pimp this up so that you can do a little bit extra with this. Now what I do like about this is it is larger than the other ponchos. So if I bring my arm up here, so my thumbs are right at the end here, so it goes past my wrists and it goes almost kind of covers my hands. I do like that about this. One of the things with the Swagman roll is, if I put the Swagman roll on for a second, let's put this on. So with the Swagman roll, when I put my arms out, hopefully you'll see it kind of doesn't cover my, well, it doesn't cover my wrists, I don't know if I said kind of. It doesn't cover my wrists. It comes out to a point where it's just before my wristwatch. Same on this side. Now it's done that specifically because this is designed to be a poncho liner, so that you can then have this underneath your poncho, and the poncho that Helikon-Tex do goes by a lot of those American GI standards on as far as the size. So it's designed to be this size to have compatibility with the poncho. Now when you put these two together, now because it is so lightweight, it is sometimes it is a bit weird to get on. But now having this on here, this has added an extra layer of wind resistance for my Swagman roll. And also what it's started to do is it's kind of, before with the Swagman roll, because you have these bits and they're reasonably open, as you get with a lot of ponchos, because this goes past those bits, where have I gone? It is fun on a windy day like this, but because it goes past that bit, it adds as a baffle that then fills that gap and stops more air from coming in. So it's kind of twofold with that. But again, the beauty of it is, if I put my arm out here just with my Swagman roll, and I put this out with my Swagman scarf, you can see there's at least an extra 3, maybe 4 inches on this, which does help to add some warmth to this. If it is that you do have the Swagman roll and you still want to be able to kind of do this as well, it also works so that you can do both of those together as well. So pretty multifunctional, especially if you want this. I mean, if you want it to use this as a scarf, you can do. Now one thing that I would say is, let's take that off and that off for a second. Hold that thought about using this as a scarf, because as part of that multifunctionality with this, and this is kind of addressing that part, that you can wear this as a, you know, you can use this as a garment, or if you want to, all the way round, so the zip that goes across the top there, the zip comes all the way down here, and then if you need to, this is very similar to one of those, you know, you can get those nice silk liners for your sleeping bag. It pretty much is the same as a silk liner for your sleeping bag, but this is made from nylon. Remember, nylon was originally made as a synthetic version of silk, but it will fit perfectly within there. If it is that maybe you're out in the woods and it's the summer, maybe you're just after something to put on you, just to keep a light breeze off you, or there's bugs around and you just want to keep those off you so that you've got something that you can kind of climb into and just batten down on a little bit, then you can use that for this. The zips themselves, so that opposite corner that I started on, this is the zip that's gone all the way around. Now if I wanted to, so let's undo this, go all the way back to this corner. It also has, damn it, I dropped it. It also has a double zip in the opposite corner as well. So you can do exactly the same. So depending on what side you want to do it, you can kind of do it both ways. Or maybe if you just want to do the sides down on it, so that you've got your zip bit there, you've got your side bits down, and then you can climb into this and then use it again like a poncho, so that those side baffles, they're now not going to open because you've got the zips on there. So let's put this on again. So now I'm in here, I'm kind of self-contained, I've got the zips all the way down, but these are double zips, so if you want to, you can undo that and put your hand through it, which is a bit of a pain, but once you've done one you can kind of do it. So now I've got that wind protection that's instantly, I can feel that the wind isn't against me other than the pressure of the wind blowing against me. And these side baffles that before were allowing air to come in here now can't allow air to come in here. So if you think about that twofold, although I probably should have showed you whilst I'd got the other one on as well, because the Swagman roll fits underneath this perfectly and is ever so slightly shorter, you can now put this on the outside again. So before it kind of naturally wanted to go around where the Swagman roll is to stop some of the air from coming in. But with these zips you can make sure that it doesn't do that. Now I'm going to get back to that original point about the zips, and that is because the zip tracks, when you've got this like this, and let's just call this the poncho setup for now, the material on this is incredibly light. You can see how easy it's picked up by the wind. It's so light that even these small, what size are these? I can't see, I haven't got my glasses on. That makes me sound old. Even just these small zips, it's almost like a flag with a coin stitched into the bottom of it. They feel heavier than the material that's around it. I don't know if that's a positive or a negative, it's just an observation, but these bits here feel like they're kind of anchoring it down a bit. But the other point as well with this is, so when you take it off to use it as a scarf, you can tuck the hood back onto the inside of it, and there is some hook and loop here so that you can close that down, so that will stop the hood from kind of poking out. But then you can put this around your neck like a scarf, but you can kind of feel those, you can feel the zip tracks. Part of me almost wants a version of this that doesn't have the zip on it, so it was just the liner, and then maybe if they use the toggle so that you could kind of batten the sides down, and then when you've got it on and you've got a jacket over this, and then you've got your jacket zipped up, you can still kind of feel those zip tracks because they're there, and the nylon material of this is very nice, it's light, it's soft, and it's very malleable, but those zip tracks don't want to kind of move the same way that the material around it does. Again, I think I'm making this sound like a negative, and I don't know whether it is a negative or a positive. It's just really an observation that when you do have this round your neck, because they call this the Swagman Scarf, it would make you assume that predominantly this is to be used as a scarf, and it works as a scarf. You know, my neck's nice and warm now, but just with those tracts on there, it just feels a bit less, oh I did that too tight. It just feels a bit less scarf-like. I don't know. But anyway, like I said at the beginning of this, I think this is a strange item. Whether strange is good, I tell my kids, if anyone calls you strange, the only reply to that is, thank you, I appreciate that. It's a multifunctional item similar to a poncho that can be used in a few different situations, and it's just trying to work out whether it's better to have just a dedicated scarf and a poncho, or if something like this would suit you. or is this something that would be better to be used in conjunction with something like the Swagman roll, because with that you can have that on, and then there's little bits that aren't necessarily negatives with the Swagman roll, but certainly become positives when you've got this over the top of it to help to keep some of that heat in. And then when you've got a proper waterproof poncho over the top of that, it will just keep you that extra little bit warmer for an all-round solution, which kind of is an all-round solution which now involves carrying 3 items with you. So yeah, I'm a bit torn on this one. Usually when I'm Helikon-Tex, I'm team Helikon-Tex, and I really do like the products that they make. I think this is a good product, it's just trying to work out the use for it. Now I know I've shown you the uses, and hopefully those uses make sense. Yeah, I'm going to leave it at that one for now. Yeah, I'll leave some links below. I did pick this up myself from Helikon-Tex. I don't think Military First have got them yet. However, I'll give Military First a shout out anyway. I've worked with them for a long time. They're an awesome company. They are the best place in the UK to pick up Helikon-Tex from. So I'll give them a good shout out because they're a good team anyway. They're a stone's throw from here in Manchester. So yeah, have a look at their website. Hopefully when these become live, if they do get them, then you'll be able to pick one up. If not, then you can pick them up pretty much anywhere else, and I think Helikon-Tex post worldwide. I'll also leave some of my social media links below so you can see more from me here on Moorlander EDC and my sister channel, Moorlander Tactical. And whether you're watching this on YouTube or Rumble, as always, stay safe, stay Moorlander, and stay EDC. It is that you want to use it for, in the way in which you'd use it. But it's a strange one to be able to explain, put it that way. I'm a kite. I'm a kite! Ah! It's messed my beard up. It's messed my beard up. It's blowing all over me. It's a strange one. I think what I need to do is, I need to just, maybe I should have tested this out a few more. I've had this for about a month now. Maybe I should have tested it for a bit longer now that it's starting to get cold. Maybe this is something that I'll wear in other pieces of content. And then if you see me wearing it, ask me about it, and then maybe I could do a couple of shorts in the future on why this is a yay or a nay kind of thing. So yeah, anyway, I'm not sure what day this is coming out. I'm filming a few things today. I was supposed to, it's absolutely thraping it down, which is why I'm here. I've come to a beautiful bandstand in Brough Park, which is in the Kingdom of the Moorlands, and I should probably use this more often when it rains, because it's an awesome location. You do get dog walkers walking past, but I don't own this, or at least it's part of the royal estate, so I kind of own it backhandedly. But you know, anyway, cool. I feel like I was a little bit erratic there. Anyway, whatever day this comes out on, I hope you're all good, and I'll see you soon.